No, no, I scheduled something at 10. And now we're at 10. 10 o'clock, celebrating a first.
GFP?
What does GFP stand for? That's inappropriate. No, we're gonna kill some time and wait for my guest to hop on. Since we said 10, and it's 10, so let's find out. For those tuning in, welcome. It is Memorial Day. I don't know what people do on Memorial Day. In fact, I don't know what people do on any day. So, what would make Memorial Day different? Hopefully we're all doing things that we want to be doing. Maybe we're not working. Maybe we are. But regardless, get a lift in. Because that's what this whole experience of life is about. Progress, growth, evolution, getting gains. These are the things that we focus on. Outside of that, geez, life has been something of a roller coaster this past year, if not longer. For the first time ever, I feel like I get to say that I have a career. And it's a career that I've always envisioned for myself. Fitness entertainment is, that's kind of the way that I introduce myself to people. I work in the fitness and entertainment genre. From my perspective, it's being created from the ground up. You've got sports entertainment like WWE, which is something I reference often. But I have never seen a blend of what's going on within the fitness industry and blending it into a presentation of entertainment in the way that I have it in mind for myself. Granted, after speaking with other people and like getting their feedback, I do understand that we have to up the production quality of the content, how it's being presented. Just because it's like, if I've got the vision of what it's supposed to look like, but the only thing I'm doing is like direct to camera UGC, then it's not really going to translate in the same way. For instance, I'm looking for something to come off a lot more cinematic, a lot more like it's taken straight out of a TV show, as opposed to this user-generated content talking direct to the camera. So, yeah. I am waiting for a guest. We are 4 minutes past this intending to start. So, I'm not sure where this person might be. I'm going to give her a couple more minutes to see if she's able to hop on. Otherwise, we will circle back and try this again at a later time. Haven't eaten breakfast yet. Got a little bit of a late start. I mean, I guess you could say. I mean, in the ideal world, I get up at around this time every single day, to tell you the truth. Hey, my guest just joined. How's it going? All right, so I think there's like a button for you to press asking to join. And once you do that, then I'm able to admit you as a, whatchamacallit. Let me see what I can do. All right, just sent you an invite to join. Let's see if that works. Etc. Hey,
Hello. Got you the camera the
did
wrong
work.
way. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What time is it over there?
It is like 1 p.m.
Where
Yeah.
are you?
I'm near Toronto. Canada, Ontario.
Okay, okay. I was in Toronto briefly a month ago, I think. Yeah, we were flying out to Nova Scotia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been there once for a competition long time ago, gymnastics competition. This is in the before times.
Got it.
But
Well,
East Coast
honestly,
is
yeah. Tell me about like your entire experience as an athlete. I'd be interested in hearing that. First off, I want to
yeah,
say that
goodness.
you're the first female bodybuilder that I've ever gotten to sit down and chat with. So thank you for
Cool.
being available for this.
Um, I mean, to be completely honest, I'm very, very new to the sport. I've been just an athlete in general for a good long while. I mean, I started gymnastics when I was, yeah, let me close that. That might be problematic. No, I did start gymnastics when I was like 9 or 10, and but bodybuilding, this is my very first season. I did my very first show like a month ago. Um, but natural athlete
Yeah,
the whole time.
yeah. Okay, okay.
um,
Uh-huh.
no, yeah, yeah. So like as far as my, I guess, athlete journey. So yeah, gymnastics from, well, I almost, how long did I do that for? I did 7, 8 years. And then I switched into cheerleading and did that for a good 10 years. At some point in the middle, my mother's fitness journey inspired me to get into CrossFit. So I started coaching that and did some personal training with a couple of different gyms for a while. So very been like in the fitness space. And then I stopped cheerleading a few years ago. But you know, that side of it was always kind of been my foundation. And the whole time people are always like, have you ever competed bodybuilding? Have you ever thought of it? I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool, but never buckled down to commit to the thing. Um,
Okay, so you competed for your first show like a month ago, you said?
yeah.
How long have you been weight training or resistance training?
Um, so, wow. Okay. So the whole pandemic situation, I lost so much like muscle, weight, everything. I was the smallest I'd been since like literally high school, which was wild. So I would say 2021, I got back into it. So yeah, good 3, 4 years. Well, I would say 3 years
Okay.
of growth focus. Like, let's get back into strength training. Because I enjoy the athletic side of things. Like those Olympic style lifts and having strength goals of like wanting to squat heavier, bench heavier, deadlift more.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, yeah. And then I don't know, everybody wants a fat ass. So I was, trying to think growth and leg day every day type thing. Obviously not every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's actually similar to my bodybuilding trajectory because I got really fat during the pandemic. And
Opposite.
yeah, yeah, I got super fat and in order to like lose the weight because the gyms were still closed during 2021, I had to basically learn about the value of calorie deficits and nutrition and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I got my physique just from dieting alone, I was like, holy shit, we gotta run with this. So that's kind
Yeah.
of what I got.
That's,
Yeah, yeah. So what made you beyond just like people telling you that you should compete in bodybuilding, like what made you make that decision?
um, like it's always been something that's kind of been in like the back of my mind. I like the idea of it. I mean, yes, gymnastics is there's like an element of like performance and glitz and glam or whatever to it, but cheerleading, I love some glitter. So think there's a little bit of that. Like I was a dancer in high school. I think being on stage and that sort of thing has never scared me.
Hmm.
Well, actually, I lie. I say like it has never scared me, but there's always an element of nerves or, um, I mean, anything in that space. But I don't know. I think it's I, especially now being in it. Um, it's been really interesting the the discipline and like kind of really working with myself on like how I feel about the fitness. Like, because I think I've spent so many years figuring out what works really well for my body, and I always had like a really holistic approach to fitness. So I think it's been really fun through prep to feel as good as possible the whole time. Like, I know it sounds bad because I know, well, there's certain people, or I've certainly encountered people who believe that prep has to be like struggle, and it has to be hard. And I'm not saying it's easy or it isn't, but it doesn't have to suck. Like, you should be able to enjoy it, or I don't know. It's been fun trying to find ways to do that. Yeah.
Listen, we so far, like you and we feel the same way about everything that you said. I feel 100% on. You know,
Cool.
It's been my experience that I don't know. I feel like a lot of athletes within the sport of bodybuilding, they glorify the suck. You know,
Yeah.
how much the
Very
prep sucks. In fact, there are some bodybuilders who say that this is the hardest sport in the world because of it's like 365. The fact that you have to, you know, prioritize your diet, and when you go through a prep, you have to, you know, unrealistic and all that shit. What are your thoughts on, in comparison to other sports that you've been a part of, where would you put bodybuilding so far as difficulty?
Oh, I mean, those people are going to hate me for this because I want to almost say the easiest out of what I've done. Only in that, I guess it comes from, like, not that I didn't enjoy the other ones, but I want to say, like, physical effort wise, because I think the way that I work out and strength training in general, like, there's that struggle is like part of it. I almost seek that, like, I want failure. I want to see what, like, where my limits are in that regard. Where at least the competition aspect itself with gymnastics and with cheerleading is very intense, and like even just the like cardio demand, or like just the physical demand to do those things, personally felt a lot greater. And honestly, I think time commitment, at least to the workout itself, I'm trying to figure out which is more, because I think now with my prep workouts are a little longer than most of my workouts kind of were initially. So we're nearing a very similar time commitment as far as like that part of it goes. Obviously, the diet and the life around it, the mindset continuing is a little bit more constant. Well, it was a lot more constant with bodybuilding. But it's very personal. And I think with the other ones, you're more like either relying on others or really working with others in those other sports. I know gymnastics is still a fairly individual sport, but even just the way that you train, it's still kind of in a group where you have multiple coaches and you're still interacting with a lot of people working towards just your goal, where bodybuilding is, you're just like, either you're doing it or you're not. And it's up to you that you're kind of doing that, maybe. I mean, also, I'm a lot older. I say a lot older, but at least I'm more mature in that I know this is my commitment. It's something I'm choosing to do, and I think I'm choosing to not let it feel hard. Like, it doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't serve you to make it feel hard.
Right.
Right.
Like, nobody's making me do this.
Right.
And definitely, especially as a student athlete or a younger athlete, there's certainly times where people are making you do it. Right. You have to learn that discipline, and obviously, I guess through that, I've built seeing the value in that effort, and not committing that, I guess accepting the suck at certain times.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. You said some really cool things. I want to go back to I want to go back to how you said that bodybuilding is very personal. Could you elaborate on that? What does it mean to you that this is like a personal experience of the sport specifically for you? Like, what do you want to get out of this personal pursuit?
I think I've always held myself to, I guess, a certain standard, or maybe envisioned or placed myself with a certain standard. So it's kind of, I guess, seeing where I stack up against the bodybuilding standard, more or less. Because I've essentially gotten to where I am through just lifestyle and enjoying my like fitness and just doing it because I like it. Like even for my first show a month ago, I only did a 2.5 month prep, like someone was like, hey, got like 11 weeks to this show. I think you could do it. Like, do you want to do it? I'm like, okay, like sure, let's try. But as far as like how I got my body to be the way that it is, or just the training that I do, it's just what I like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fun to see how, um, I would say like validating. I don't need validation from other people, but like, kind of that,
Mm-hmm.
that that process has worked more or less.
So if I had to interpret, you would be the way that you train is like you get satisfaction and value out of your style of training,
Mhm.
and then as a result, it's like okay, well the way that I train, and then if I were to eat in a calorie deficit, I would have the physique, I would have the appearance, I would be able to actually compete in bodybuilding. So it's like why not? Because I'm already
Yeah,
kind of in that space.
yeah, yeah. I would say so. Um, I mean, on it, like even in my initial steps, in like tiptoes into the fitness world, I was always fascinated by the WFBB divas and like just like I'm like, oh, look at them, look at their bodies, look so fantastic. They just it's like amazing,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it'd be cool to know that, or I don't know, be placed at a similar space or be on that level, you know.
Yeah, yeah. How did you do at the at your first show?
I did well. It was a small show. I mean, my division was very small, but I placed first in the true novice category, and then second in the my open category.
Nice, nice. Was
Yeah.
this so? I'm not the best with the female divisions yet, but was this bikini
No wellness.
wellness?
Yep.
Okay, all right. And the way that it's stacked, it's like bikini's the smallest, then it's
Well, now
wellness.
fit model is the smallest. So they
Okay,
got fit model, then bikini, then wellness, then figure, and
bodybuilding.
up.
Yeah,
Yes, like
yeah.
I think physique. Yeah, it gets cloudy up there for me. I'm not sure, but I know figure would be the next step fitter
Okay,
than me.
okay, all right. And there's one of them where I get a little confused because apparently in one of the divisions, there's like an emphasis on bigger legs but smaller upper
Yeah,
body.
that's what I'm going for.
Okay, all right. So you're wellness.
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. So, all right. The big question that I'm looking to get further insight on, just because I have very limited knowledge as to the way that women's bodybuilding works. You obviously have more than me. The fact that you competed, um, like on the day, and you're competing against other female bodybuilders. Are you seeing what they have that you don't have, or like are you seeing where you stack and what's if you can articulate what you're perceiving when you're backstage?
Um, I mean, yeah, everybody compares. It's a sport of comparison,
Mhm.
so I don't say that I don't. Um, I need more legs and more glutes, which is my journey that I've been chasing for the last couple of years. So I'm like, so I think, well, my biggest feedback from the first show was that it came in too hard. So I was just a little too lean, a little bit too, I want to say too conditioned, which sounds crazy. But definitely, I know in bikini and something I'm learning in wellness, or just I'm learning about the divisions is that, um, especially fit model the most, bikini and then wellness, like they want less of that, I guess, really chiseled, really hard look. Like they want more fullness to the legs. So it's been, I mean, so first show only got a small piece of insight into it, right? But we wanted to see how my conditioning and my body stacks up against or in an open show. So that's what I'm doing next weekend. I'm doing the um, Fuad Abiyad Championship, which is not a natural specific show. Um, so I mean, yeah. So biggest thing, more legs, more glutes, more fullness. It's funny that they want a little less upper body, but I think partially like the feedback that I got from that one show, like I just want a little bit more, you know. Um,
Okay. All right. So more bubbly, not so much hard lines. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
got
So like even like certain striations, they want a little less of that. Yeah,
less striations.
I know, right?
I'm
Even like I
confused.
thought bodybuilding them like you want to get like as like cut as possible essentially, and then that's what I feel like I
Right.
succeeded in for my first show. Had I been in another division, I probably would have been received very differently. Like I think what I brought would have been great for figure, but that was just never, oh that was just never a goal for me. That's just not what I wanted. Like I see wellness and I see what those girls have, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm chasing. I want to do that.
Yeah, because I looked at photos of your competition, and like you looked incredibly lean, you know? And that's why I'm asking questions, because from my perspective, with my limited knowledge as to how judging is done, not even just for female bodybuilding, but just in general. Like, I don't know how judges make these decisions. So it's like,
Yeah.
if I'm objectively looking at your physique next to the other competitors that you're going against, I'm going like, okay, well, she's objectively got conditioning dialed in, you know? So that's got to count for something. And
Yeah.
then to hear that some of the feedback that you got was like you were too conditioned, well, then it makes me think, all right, so if you're taking that note and you're applying it to like future shows, don't be so conditioned. It's like, so like you have to stop
Like,
yourself.
where do we draw that line? So it's been
Exactly.
really interesting this last month, because I took a moment to like try to fill out, and then I almost felt like not like underprepared, but I was like, oh, this is just a different place than I was 2 weeks out from the first time, because I was going for it. Um, so I'm really really excited or interested to see kind of how it goes in the next 2 weekends, because I mean it's a judge sport, so there's always going to be like a judge who prefers one specific thing, and somebody, maybe the person who's making the final decision, just happens to prefer
All
this on this day.
right.
Like there's definitely
Yeah.
a big element of like pageantry to it, and yeah, like yeah. I mean, I guess I've kind of I'm used to judge sports. Cheerleading and gymnastics are both judged and scored, so
But hold on a
it's not
second,
like
because I wanna go. All right, so gymnastics and cheerleading are both judge
judge
sports,
sports.
correct?
Yeah.
But it's, you would say it's a lot more objective when the judges are making their decisions within those two sports in comparison to bodybuilding.
Yeah, I think it definitely has. Well, I know it's. I think my division is. I think it's is one of the newest. So I know it has a lot of. There's a lot of kind of back and forth over what they want from the division. Um, but definitely, gymnastics and cheerleading have very specific rules as far as what gives you points, what deducts points. It's not just like maybe someone's,
Yeah.
aesthetic, like visual, like, oh, I like that more, or like this ratio looks nice to me, kind of
And
thing.
that's kind of like the point that I'm trying to get at, where it's like, if it's the same rules for gymnastics, where it's like every competition you go to, this is what you're being judged on: precision, accuracy, sticking the landing. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you
No,
get,
there's things
yeah.
that'll
And then when you
take the
move on,
points off.
exactly. Then you move all the way over to bodybuilding, and it becomes like case by case. Like certain judges like certain things. One judge likes your hardness, but the other one goes like, "Oh, like we need more fullness, or we need more of this and that." And I don't know. It's like, is that fair? Is that
So I mean, like as much as gymnastics and cheerleading did have those, like they has some very clearness to it. There's always going to be an element of, like what is it, like artistry points, kind of. I guess you could call it like it's like, hey, no, I just like you had good performance. I just liked your like all like I don't know. There's still that category, that window of the judge can award points just based on I liked that. That was good. And I found that with cheerleading more so than gymnastics, definitely in cheerleading, that was a piece. So I don't know. It feels like it comes with the territory. It is my division being a little bit newer is definitely plays against me or against your ability to figure that out.
right?
Um, yeah, it's like because it's not. I don't think it's entirely objective. There are parameters that they're trying. They're like I don't know ratio.
Here's
What do I know?
here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is kind of how I'm like attacking my career. If
Yeah.
I am competing in, let's say, classic physique division, right? And I'm backstage and I think I look really great, and then a guy comes along who looks better, and then we go on stage, I'm thinking that guy objectively looks better when we go off of the metrics of size, shape, and conditioning. If he's got me beat on all three, in my brain, I'm thinking this guy should win because when I'm probably later this year, probably later this year. But yeah, if I see a guy who's got better size, better shape, and better conditioning, in my brain, I'm thinking he should win. And I feel like if it's not that simple, if it's not that straightforward, I want to understand why it isn't. You know, when it gets to like the granular details of like, oh, your glutes weren't striated enough for that specific judge, but for the other judge, it's like, oh, I really liked your your shoulders and your conditioning, but such and such. You know what I'm saying? It's like it gets a bit too nuanced, and it becomes very difficult to appeal to a specific judge because then we lose sight of the other ones.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the gamble you're taking often. You just try to, I guess, have the image of what, like, you always have an image of like what the package is that they want, like the ideal package, and you just get as close to that as you can. Um, After the show, like I do see, in comparison to certain pros or just some footage I've seen from some of the pro shows that followed, um, and I forget who had posted it, but it was a breakdown from the Pittsburgh Pro, just talking about the different conditioning of the top five,
Mm-hmm.
or just not just the conditioning, just the overall result and just like the package that they brought for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to make a little bit more sense. Like I could see where like what they meant by a little too hard, or just actually looking at the line of it. The not necessarily the ratio, well, yeah, the ratios, but just what the fullness was that they were looking for. And I just now have to find that in myself and know where to stop. You know, that's how I'm
Interesting.
taking it.
Yeah, yeah. So if we were to apply that to men's bodybuilding, where like I don't think that rule is getting passed around yet, where they're saying like don't come in too conditioned. In fact, in my journey within bodybuilding for like the past year or so, specifically for amateurs, it's highly encouraged to prioritize condition at the highest level. And then once you become a pro, it becomes a bit more focused on shape and size, obviously. But with the type of bodybuilding that I'm passionate about and the type of bodybuilding that I'm looking to highlight within my content and my future productions and things of that nature, is I want to put shape above everything. I truly do. I want to put shape at, like, if we're making a pyramid, it's shape at the top, and then we have conditioning and size on the bottom. And if we are able to, at least again within my promotion, if we're able to prioritize that, then we can create a presentation of a physique that is prioritized on aesthetics over everything. And at the end of the day, aesthetics is what the general public wants to see. They don't really want to see some like size mass monster, and they also don't want to see a person who's like so conditioned that you can see their like skeleton. You know, I feel like what's most appealing to the massive amount of people would be a person who's prioritizing their shape and presenting a shape that's beautiful and desirable, and like, oh my god, what did that person do in order to get that? And that's where like everything trickles down from. And again, this is just my opinion, but
No, yeah, I absolutely. I think I agree with that. I think that like the whole size, at least in how size plays a big part
of shape,
towards shape.
one hundred
Like,
percent,
of course,
100%. Yeah,
because I think, well, at least as far as what I'm approaching in my training right now, it's size over everything. So with fit focus, so I guess it does go to shape. Those things are very closely linked.
I agree. I agree. And as a natural, you don't really have to worry too much about like your size becoming overpowered. Like I would say that you have to keep in mind of the balance. It's like if your upper body is bigger than your lower body, then you need to bring your upper body up. But at no point should you, in my opinion, should you be thinking, okay, something's off so far as my lower body is like way too big, so let me stop training them all together. I don't think like natural athletes really need to think like that, just because. our growth is happens at like a slower rate. So, like training your upper body to bring them into proportion with your lower, putting the emphasis on that, like you can still be able to get the type of result that you're looking for, I suppose.
My my door just opened and closed
Oh,
on
no
its own.
problem.
Yeah, I think it's just it's sorry, you're because I actually need less of your body right now. Is where
Yeah, well,
like
that's
is
because
the place that
you're
I'm
in
coming
wellness.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So they're actually saying like you're supposed to have a smaller upper body and bigger lower body. Right.
yeah. It's I think it's funny. It's like the least proportion I think out of all of the
Mm-hmm.
divisions, where everything else is all about balance. Because even in bikini and fit model, um, they really want an even balance, and it's just um, the women's divisions are very interesting because they want in the especially the divisions I'll say that are smaller than me. How about um, they don't want any like striation. They want like okay, yeah, she looks toned. Like there's like some muscle like in there, but they don't want it to look like you to look jacked. So it's an interesting bodybuilding space.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, so I have two questions for you. Firstly, you acknowledge that size is definitely something that you need to prioritize moving forward as you continue in your bodybuilding career.
Wellness journey, yeah.
Yes, all that stuff. You have a show coming up this weekend, you said? Shit, shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what else is on the agenda after that?
So we're really going to see how it goes. If all goes well this weekend, I wanted to try the pro qualifier the following weekend. Um, so, but then beyond that, so yeah, Toronto Pro Super Show is not this weekend, but next weekend. So if I do well this weekend and I come like top 3 qualify to go try that out. But then beyond that, I have 2 months until the Natural Nationals in Toronto. So that's what I guess qualified for a month ago.
Okay, okay. All right, so you got a couple shows lined up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we figured why not?
Yeah,
If we started it, let's go, let's try.
yeah, I love
It
that.
it is interesting because I see a lot of people will do just like one show a year kind of
Hmm.
thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know, let's do it. Let's run it.
What's training been like now that you're in this? I'm definitely gonna get to that, JB. What has training been like since you're in the basically final stages of prep, where you're at your leanest that you're supposed to be? Maybe have you upped the calories ever since receiving the judges' feedback?
Yeah, I did initially. It's funny. I had an interesting couple of weeks. Just kind of, I don't say like I was really bad, but like I was eating a lot of a lot of things. So it just kind of contributed to kind of a place where I was like, okay, being fuller or trying to get fuller into a competition was weird. I'm feeling great now. Just little manipulations from my coach, starting to bring it down a little bit. But then the goal is to still kind of like refeed back into the weekend.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, training, I don't say hasn't changed that much. Like this week is also depending on how depleted I get and how much worse it goes. Like, not say worse, but how much lower it goes. That'll affect whether I really change. I think my training too
Hmm.
much. Um, I'm lucky, very blessed that my low days are still quite high in comparison to a lot of what I see people are up to. So I'm not feeling that bad right
Yeah,
now.
I honestly have this dream. Towards like the later side of my career in this sport where I really want to experiment with like the concept of like not having peak weeks, you know, where
Yeah,
I would say like the vision is like this is year 2, right? So let's jump over to year 8 and we already have a very good understanding as to like what my physique looks like at its peak. Like we've already done the peak process at least 6 or 7 times, if not more. And we're at year 8 and it's like, okay, this year we're gonna do as many shows as possible, but we're not gonna fucking peak. We're just going to like create a physique that
that
prioritizes. Yeah,
that rides and stands. That you can just live like that. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel. I almost like was at the start of like like where I was kind of starting this season or this year, like my prep. Um, Obviously, like I needed to get ready to a degree, but um, I mean, especially based on feedback of needing to be a little bit bigger, or like softer or full or whatever.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, look, I didn't need to prep that hard. Like I was already kind of in a space where I think they would have liked what I brought.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it is interesting, and I mean, I definitely think it's possible. I think I was might have been there.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to play with that. And then the other question I wanted to ask you, um, do you know anything about what it is that I'm doing? How did you find out about me?
I mean, a little bit. I saw, I think, just very, very recently, a video talking about like the Natty King franchise vibe popped up, and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I'm obviously very new to the bodybuilding world, but I'm not Natty for life. Like that resonates, in that this is just a lifestyle or a life that I'm living.
Okay.
And I was interested in kind of getting into your journey, your story more. I just happened to also, I guess, get into mine. So
Absolutely.
um, I don't know much, but it seems
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give you a little bit of background, and I would really like to. I want to get your opinion on something. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I am building a franchise. The best way to describe it. Are you familiar with WWE?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the same way that the WWE superstars refer to the franchise as the WWE universe, and like
Mm.
they all exist in that universe, and all storylines are part of the WWE universe. So, it's like when John Cena turns heel and says that he's going to win the WWE championship and take the belt home and retire, and that'll be the end of it. It's existing within this universe that they have created by Vince McMahon. So with what I'm doing, I'm kind of the creator of the Natty King universe, and I'm looking to populate that universe with natural athletes, focusing on bodybuilders first, and then scaling outside of that over the course of an entire career within fitness and entertainment. Um, my intention is to produce a TV show where we have a King of Naturals tournament, which is an invitation only for 30 bodybuilders to come and compete for the title of the Natty King. And the vision is they win a $1 million cash prize, and they get to walk around as the de facto Natty King, greatest natural bodybuilder, stuff like that. The thing that I wanted to ask you about is I have been promoting this on social media, and I have gotten some, we can call it feedback, but more so comments about like, where's the woman representation in this project? And like I just said, my intention is to spotlight all natural athletes, men and women. Yeah, the Natty verse is exactly what I'm aiming to promote. But the thing is that I have to focus on scalability, and the reason I'm focusing on 30 natural male bodybuilders first with one division, it's 30 natural athletes competing for one division of the Natty King, is because it's a lot more digestible than just like, bringing this universe open. It's like, okay, we got male natural bodybuilders, we got female natural bodybuilders, we've got different divisions of female natural bodybuilders. And it's like, okay, so who's the best? And if we're just trying to focus on highlighting, like, okay, this is the journey, this is the process, then I do see the difficulty of like being stretched too thin, because then it's like, how do we appeal it to a mainstream audience if there's like so many different things going on? And I
I
would
mean,
love
and
to.
also, yeah, at a certain point, it would get impossible to compare certain aspects of it. There has to be I feel like a window of some sort
Mhm.
that you can fit people in. I don't want to say fit people into, but if it's a competition, you have to be compared to everybody. So it's like, I don't know, how would I compete against you? It, like, side by side would be like, what are you looking for? What is the criteria? But I mean, also with defined criteria, anything is possible. If you say this is what we need, and if it can be that objective, like I don't think it's impossible. But
Yeah, I
I see what you
think
mean.
I think you're onto something, and I guess like the way that I would like to do it. So I've been talking because it's like for male bodybuilding, they have like three divisions. They've got men's physique, classic physique, and open. And one of the questions that get asked to me often is like, okay, so what division are these 30 natural bodybuilders competing in? And as it continues to get refined, again, we're aiming for production to start in 2028. JB, I hear that. But yeah, so if we're aiming for 2028 production, in my mind, we're going for more of a classic physique look.
Yeah, yeah.
And the reason that we're making that decision is we're intending for mainstream appeal in a way that bodybuilding actually hasn't achieved yet. I think bodybuilding was at the peak of its popularity during Arnold Schwarzenegger's era, but that's only because Arnold Schwarzenegger was the most popular, like he was one of the most popular fitness icons of his time. And then he did a beautiful transition into Hollywood and became a movie star. And that's why bodybuilding is as popular as it is now. However, I don't think we've surpassed that legacy yet. And what I'm looking to do is present physiques that are desirable to mainstream audiences. And I feel like those physiques exist in classic as opposed to open.
I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah. So based off of that, you're the first female bodybuilder that I'm asking. What do you think? What's the ideal female aesthetic physique? What division does that exist in? And is there anyone that comes to mind that you think of that like is like killing it with that physique? Like, do you have any role models in the sport?
Very, very new to really paying attention. I certainly have stumbled across some fantastic wellness physiques that I'm like, yes, please let me build that. I think her name is Clarissa. I can send you her profile after because I don't remember her last name. But she just competed, and I was immediately like starstruck, like hello, that's exactly what I want to be. I mean, it probably sounds biased, but I would think wellness would be that division. I mean, especially with the trend of what I know, like there's skinny is apparently coming back or whatever the media is saying about aesthetics, but like no, like the glute focus for everybody and their mama wants more glutes and more of that, and wellness is the division that is very that leg dominant. I know, I'm sure there's a large population of the general that lean towards the bikini and the fit model side of things because they are, I'll say, I don't know. There's always that like, I don't say stereotype with that kind of that negative feedback where it's like, oh, she's too jacked, she looks like a man type thing. And in those divisions, you're much further removed from that kind of perspective or any possibility of that perspective, in my opinion. But I feel like wellness is almost like that perfect middle between those spaces of like still obviously like really feminine, but like still curves focused. But there's a lot more muscle involved, or I don't know, more muscle involved than for the newest division, fit model for sure. Then there's still like an element more of like upper body is something that you want. Like I don't know. I think it's the one.
I think you might be onto something personally, and I didn't start thinking until I came across because with my background in filmmaking, I am subjective, definitely. I'm definitely subjective, and I go off of like intuition. So I don't know how like I think you found me first, and I checked your page out. I'm like, okay, I like this person. So yeah. So like
Funny how we have very similar, I would say, perspectives or paths into this. Like TV and film stuff is something that I've done in like the past 10 years as well. So I love that that's where you said your background is in filmmaking.
Tell me about that.
Cheerleading, they were doing auditions for a cheer show at my gym that I was training at.
Mm-hmm.
So I just happened to audition, and then I started, got the job, worked a season doing TV stuff, which was really fun. And then I've had the like idea to get more into like stunt, and like I've done, I don't know, just I love the world. I like seeing the both sides of it, like being obviously you see like the product when you're like watching
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool to see that in front of the camera kind of process, and I really enjoyed being involved in that. So it's just something that's kind of always been.
Good to
I
know.
want to say a side hustle.
Yes. Okay. What's your, how do I put this? All right. So I do long-term planning. So if you could write the next 5 years, what would that look like for you?
Um, ooh, yeah, I don't know. See, so it's funny. That's something I've been trying to like nail down a little bit more.
Hmm.
My current path in space shifted drastically within the last month. I honestly feel like I'm avoidant, but I hadn't exactly re-nailed anything down that just yet. But um, 5 years. Is, I there's a show that actually has been saying that they're going to do something for a good few years now that I just still just like that's gonna happen. They're gonna get all the pieces aligned, all the lights will go green. Um, and more of that, I would say, is definitely in my 5 year. More time committed to like performance stunt acting stuff.
Wait, tell me about this show. Are you able to talk about it? Okay.
Not
Got it.
really.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
And so long as that everybody involved does that, then hopefully it will. You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
So that's keeping in their secrets.
But it's
You
like
know.
a film production.
Yeah, television show
Okay.
potential.
All right. Okay. All right. So you do have aspirations to be in television.
Yes.
Okay. On camera.
Yes. Oh
Just making sure.
yeah, that's fair. I don't know how to do any of the behind the scenes stuff. It's fun to watch, but I don't know.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. All right. I'm, I knew this was good. Do you
Yeah,
have any
yeah.
favorite?
No,
What were you gonna say?
no. I just that's why I kind of seeing the one video I immediately was like, okay, let me see what's going on with this story and this process because like it just seemed a little too aligned
Yeah.
with um
And
what I've been thinking.
it's funny, and like this is like full transparency. I normally don't move this quick on people that like come across me. Like I've got DMs from honestly, I feel like I want to prioritize or I want to focus more on women at least right now. And when I say right now, I mean like today. I want to focus on. I'm just being completely honest because it's like
Yeah.
it's sprawling. Like we're actually building something from the ground up that's supposed to, like, it's an entire world that gets built over the course of like the next several years, and I don't want to leave anyone out. So I say all that to say it's like I've got multiple DMs of like people telling me like, hey, I want to be considered for this thing, and I have every intention of following up with all of them. But when I saw you, for some reason, I wanted to connect with you sooner than later, just to hear your story, and I'm happy that I did.
Yeah, thanks. It seemed, what's it, synchronicity? Sometimes the universe just throws stuff at you at the right time,
For sure, for sure. Okay. So when it comes to television, do you have any specific favorite TV shows that you like? And do you have any specific favorite TV shows that you would want to be a part of? Like if you could have been
Hmm.
cast in a TV show, what would you have picked?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the media consumption that I do is anime and animated.
Oh shit! Oh
Yeah,
shit! Okay, we gotta talk.
I'm not watching a lot of regular TV.
Okay,
Um,
so you
so
like anime?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is
Um,
exciting.
like I'm not wearing anything related. I have a full shelf of manga over there.
Okay, all right. Well, give me
Um,
some favorites.
oh, I mean, Junji Ito is my favorite manga artist. He's a horror
Mm.
artist. Yeah, he's got really cool. My mom's always liked horror stuff, so I think maybe that's where that came from. But he's got a really cool art style,
Is that
and
the guy who did the spiral
yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
and HBO kind of fucked up
I
the
mean,
anime.
apparently the animation, I didn't even bother watching it because I was told I was going to be mad because like the certain pieces, like a moment might be beautiful, but like half the time they did not do his art justice, which is valid because I mean, like it's a very intricate and like interesting, different thing going on there. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, if they do it well, it'll be really cool.
Yeah, I heard the
But
first episode was like really high production, and they took like when they made the trailer for the anime, they took all the moments from the first episode and put it in the trailer, and then it drops off in quality drastically.
drastically,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think I actually did watch the first episode, maybe and a half. I don't remember if I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so hard.
Yeah. Um, but I don't know, I'm trying to think I mean, it's up there. Chainsaw Man, is up there. I started one called Crazy Food Truck, which is quite cool, but I only got like the first couple volumes of that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I was a late start into the anime as well. Like I watched Naruto in maybe 2018, 17, something like that. But then I was just hooked. I literally watched all 700, 900 episodes in one year and then have just been
Nice.
in the genre ever since.
Naruto's great. It's got some very, very good themes. Yeah.
It was my gateway anime.
Yeah,
What got me,
definitely,
hooked.
definitely. I love the whole. Well, I mean, I feel like it kind of got fucked up towards the end, but the whole concept of hard work beating genius level talent. That's something that I feel like any person can really resonate with. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally was the theme until you kind of realize that he is low-key generational talent, but it's okay.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Okay, all right. Good to know. But yeah, going back to TV show that you would like to see yourself in.
Mm. Um, hmm. I-
Or if it's easier, a perfect role, like a dream role for you as an actor.
Hmm. Hmm.
Either one or both.
I I mean, would love to quote unquote be my own stunt woman. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
I have like some experience doing stunt work, like obviously like in that capacity for TV stuff. Um, Much more limited as an actress, as far as experience goes. So I think I think I'm more like in the vein of like reality, or you can just kind of be yourself. Like I don't know. I'm not. I'm
Well,
well. Yeah.
let me
No. Yeah.
let me offer some clarification. So I would say I'm inventing a new style of filmmaking, or a new genre where we're taking, like my vision is to remove the script from storylines and have the actors, or you can even call them players. We can, like, I think it's better to call them players, but we have the players interact in the scene, understanding the through line, or like the desired outcome of the scene. But however we get to the scene is completely up to the players. So keeping that in mind, the types of scenes that I'm looking to capture are individuals playing themselves, only it's a part of a ongoing narrative. And that narrative would be, let's say if we're talking about the Natty King, then every scene in that TV show is in relation to who is going to be crowned the Natty King. Every scene is leading us to that discovery throughout the entire season. And then in future productions, it's all about scalability for me. And you referenced anime, and it's like when you take a look at Naruto, at the beginning, it's like he's trying to learn how to walk on water with his chakra. And then you fast forward 700 chapters, and he's, got eight
Fighting
Rasengans.
or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. He's fighting God, you know?
Yeah.
So the type of storyteller and writer that I am, I focus very heavily on scalability, and I'm a fan of like anime exaggerated stories. So it's like if we're going for the Natty King, and maybe in the second season it's the Natty King and the Natty Queen, then who are these leaders? What are they? Where are they leading us to? Where is this taking us? Because it's the final destination is not crowning the Natty King or the Natty Queen. The final destination is actually leading a movement that changes the entire world to prioritize their health and wellness in a natural way. And what that looks like is going in direct defiance of government systems that are looking to oppress us and keep us in the perspective of eat fast food and stay fat. So in a sense, we would be champion heroes to promote a lifestyle that is more conducive to longevity.
Yeah, I mean, yes, like preach. It's been a large piece of like my health journey. I mean, I was vegan for a good 5 years before like the last, I would say, year and a half. Vegetarian has just aided my personal growth and gain. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. But I think that came from a similar place of, yeah, I want to say like defiance and seeking like the better, like the truth in health. And yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just what a lot of what you've got going on resonates crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
uh,
No, no, I like it. I like it. Well,
where that came from.
yeah, it looked like you were about to say something.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I was trying to articulate
Thoughts?
there.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I went on a date yesterday with a girl who's in pre-med, and I was asking her a question. She said something along the lines of what I thought was very interesting. That she said, people come in with like immediate complaints, and as a doctor, it is their responsibility to treat the complaints that they are coming into the office with, right? But from her perspective, she feels that she would rather like to focus on a more holistic treatment that would prevent.
Yeah, like where did it come from? Not just like dealing with what's in front, like
Yeah,
why and where.
yeah,
I know that's a major space to be explored as far as medicine goes. Like, one thing I always thought was insane was how doctors don't do any nutrition certification, like what they get like 20 hours or something like that in their whole med career, or like less, it's like 2 hours or something of like nutrition training. When that's the thing that literally gives your body the fuel to build or exist. Like everything comes from that's there.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
why not look there
Yeah.
first?
And the point that I made is, all right, so we're literally on this date and we're drinking alcohol, and the alcohol is like unregulated. We can drink as much alcohol as we want, and then it becomes up to our responsibility. We have to hold ourselves accountable to moderate ourselves, right? And the same thing can be said with junk food. But the issue is that since it's our responsibility to decide what we consume, then within the society, if it's encouraged or embraced to be fat, then society will make us fat. And the accountability of the individual, like that's gone because everyone else is doing the same thing. So if we're making it in an environment where it's like it's okay to eat an excess of calories in the form of junk food or fast food or what have you, then it's no longer the responsibility of the individual. It becomes the responsibility of the environment to actually create this experience.
I mean, yeah, the environment is very clearly trying to push everyone into one direction, which is
Yeah,
that. Um,
yeah,
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 no, yeah, very,
yeah.
very that.
And the point that I was making to her is that she didn't want to take on the responsibility or like accountability for like it's not the doctor's fault for fat patients, and I get that to an extent. But I made the point that like I don't think it's the patient's fault either, because if they don't have the proper education, if they don't have the proper tools or the proper discipline, they haven't been led in the direction of prioritizing their health and wellness, then it's not their fault either. So whose fault is it? And the assessment that she made was that it's got to come from the top down. So government officials at the top of the food chain, they're the ones who are actually responsible for creating these environments that fuel.
Yeah, I feel like even at that level, it's still a lack of education, and that it's still a product of the environment. You know what I mean? Like as much as they have the ability to control certain regulations around it,
Mhm.
there's still people that are being influenced and um, pushed into that kind of like, yeah, no, just be fat, be lazy. You can buy it. You can get the here's an injection, here's a pill that
Right.
can fix it. Like let's just whatever. Like it's yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's their responsibility, but like also that they're just someone's mom. You know what I mean? Like they're also grew up in getting all those mixed signals and whatever.
Yeah, yeah, and I think like that's why I'm interested in. I believe in the power of storytelling because in the same way that we can look at Naruto and see the value of that story, at least the way that it started, which is like, okay, I was an underdog, but I want to be, the Hokage of my village,
I
and
mean, his character still stands regardless of like yeah, whatever he was powerful. That's cool.
Mhm.
He's strong. Whatever. He could have just sat there and been like, oh well, you know,
Exactly.
I'm gonna do nothing and be nothing because everybody says I'm
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
But
And just the
um,
very fact that you're able to extract that sort of philosophical viewpoint from the story, that's exactly my point. So my feeling is that, okay, we have anime characters to serve as like role models, right? But do we have real life individuals that we can actually elevate to a perspective of role model, hero, leader by example?
yeah, 100%. It has to be.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the Natty verse, which shout out to JB for coming up because I had never
Yeah,
used that
that's
phrase. No, the Natty verse is great. I'm going to start saying that, but yeah, like
it.
that's kind of where it came from because I believe that if we band together, we can actually become leaders of this real universe and lead the general public to. Uh, a better life. So, yeah.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it's like yeah, natty bodybuilding, but like natty life, like for
Hmm.
real, like that
Hmm.
was more like holistic, more whole from the earth. Let's find plants. Let's go outside. Let's
Mm. Mm.
that's how we thrive
Yeah.
on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, this was dope.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Good conversation.
Yeah. I do want you to know, I like you. Things are still in pre-production. Things are still being built. This is like still ground floor of this entire thing. Um, I want to make clear that the conversation that we have today, um, like it stays here forever, and then it's just a matter of making sure that the things that we talked about actually get realized over the course of careers. So you're here and you're here. That's right here. And then it's just a matter of like staying in touch and keep doing whatever you're doing, keep doing everything that you're doing, and I'm working with you in mind, and I'm working with everyone else in mind as well.
That's super. Yeah, I guess super grateful that I was able to, like, it just happened to stumble into the world of what you're creating. But I really like the vibe. I mean, it's kind of exactly what I'm I was doing anyways. You know what I mean? What I'm out
And
here
that's
doing.
that's the
So,
whole point. That's the whole point.
I was like,
Yeah.
I just this is just yeah cool to kind of to see these first steps of it, and I'm just really intrigued in seeing more of like your process and everything that's happening in the Nattyverse. I'm here. Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
cool.
We're already doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, listen, don't be a stranger. Let's keep in touch. We're homies now. So good luck on your upcoming show, and we'll continue to chat.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, okay. I'll talk to you. Bye.